So one of the things that I do, one of my hustle jobs, is to teach as an adjunct at a college, and I teach theater and I teach cinema classes. And recently, over the last couple of years, I've been also teaching dual credit, which means I've been teaching college classes at high schools. And so uh, recently, I've had a class of college, excuse me, high school freshmen, which is much younger than the students I'm used to teaching, and they get a version of the college class, and I go to the high school and I teach there, and uh, I've been teaching a theater appreciation class recently, and the other day I got in a discussion with these high school freshman students about the difference between plot and story. And it was a surprisingly enlightening conversation. I'd like to say that happens all the time. Um, that the classroom is filled with enlightening conversations. Um, but that's not true. That totally doesn't happen. So it was really sort of nice and a bit of a rare event, and it called attention to the subject for me because the students caught on to the fact that I was sort of using the words plot and story interchangeably, but I was very specific about pointing out what plot was compared to story. Sort of, in a technical academic sense. And I thought I would hop on here real quick and talk about that as well, because I think a lot of people, especially people that aren't in the narrative arts, so to speak, like they don't write screenplays and plays and are involved in I don't know, acting and directing and things like that. I think in everyday life, people use the word plot and they use the word story sort of interchangeably and in a more casual sense. So what I wanted to do is talk about the actual difference, like the technical difference between plot and story. So first of all, story is well, the dictionary defines story as I've got it right here, an account of imaginary or real people or events, which is really vague. Like, that's a really open ended definition. Plot, on the other hand, is much tighter. Plot has to do with the arrangement of the things that actually happen in a story. So the plot is very explicit. Like, it's the actual scenes, it's the actual actions, the actual events, the things that we see unfold in whatever we're watching. But story is a much bigger concept. The definition is vague for a reason, because story involves not just the plot, it involves characters, it involves metaphor, symbolism, theme, rhythm, pacing, all kinds of stuff. Um, so the story is a much bigger concept. If you wanted to think of it like a Venn diagram, it would be a horribly imbalanced Venn diagram. So you draw a big circle and you'd put the word story in it, but then you would put plot inside that circle. Like, they don't overlap. In fact, story encompasses plot, uh, and and it just includes a bunch of other things. So plot is part of story, but you can't necessarily reverse it. Story does not fit inside of plot. The plot is part of the story. Uh, yeah. So if the plot is the very explicit things that you actually see, story is those things that you actually see, the explicit things, but also the implicit meanings of those things. Uh, as well as added things like tone and atmosphere and what have you. So story is a much bigger concept, and it applies to all kinds of things. But plot is very specific. Plot is the order or the arrangement of the actual events, the actual incidents that happen in a story. So in a play or a movie or a novel or what have you. So that's the difference between the two. When we talk about narrative, we don't say what the plot is about. We say what the story is about. I mean, what I mean is, you don't you don't approach somebody and say, "Yeah, I every Christmas I watch this movie about this guy, and it opens with him in an airplane, and this person is giving him advice to make little fists with his toes on carpet when he gets off the airplane, and then he arrives in an airport where he's allowed to smoke, and he's carrying a large teddy bear, and he meets a limo driver after he walks through the airport who's got his name on a plaque, and his name is Argyle, and he shows him to the limo, and then they get in the limo, and the guy, that just showed up, the protagonist says, um, "You call this Christmas music?" Because there's music playing on the radio, and they chit chat as he drives him into downtown Los Angeles, and he drops him off and says the limo driver does, and he says he'll wait in the parking structure below the building, and the protagonist makes his way up the elevator. To the office party that is happening in that building where he's supposed to meet his wife for Christmas. And then no, it's not how you don't go like this happened, then this happened, then this happened. This would be such a long explanation if you were telling other people about the things that you saw, that you witnessed and watched. So instead we say, yeah, I watched this Christmas movie. Every year I watch this movie. It is about John McClane, a cop from New York who comes to Los Angeles for the Christmas time to reconcile with his wife, who he's separated from, and hopefully save his marriage. But while he's in Los Angeles, some people take over the office building he's in, the Nakatomi building, and he has to battle these quote unquote terrorists slash robbers who overtake the Nakatomi building and save everyone, as many people as he can in the building, as well as save his marriage with his wife. That's Die Hard. Like that, you would say this is what it's about in a much broader way. You wouldn't describe event by event by event that happens, because that would be A, it would take a long time, and B, it's just weird. It's just weird. And I don't think people pay that close attention. A casual viewer doesn't necessarily pay as close attention to the plot as they do to the characters and the overall kind of message and tone of a story. So that's a big difference. Story, big concept, includes plot. Plot is only the actual arrangement of the events, only what actually explicitly happens. So there you go. There you go. Uh, hey, thanks for watching. I'm trying to keep this YouTube channel cooking along. I got a bunch of ideas. I just don't have a lot of time to execute them. And as you might have noticed, I'm slowly learning how to do this as I'm doing it in a better and better way. So, upward and onward. Hey, if you want to support me and what's going on, you can find my books on Amazon. Brad McIntyre. I've written a bunch of plays and a bunch of other things, including a book on solo performance called Crafting the Solo Show. And it's about touring solo shows and putting them together and performing them. And then I've also recently put together a mailing list. So if you want to sign up for my email list, I haven't been sending out very many emails at all, but I am slowly putting together an email list to keep everybody abreast of what's happening, when videos come out, performances that I might be doing as a touring performer. When I release books, I'll let you know. I'm a big believer in not being intrusive with my emails, not bombarding your inbox. But if you'd like to join up, there's like a little free giveaway associated with the email. 7 pitfalls of playwriting and how to avoid them, which is an ebook that I put together, and you can find a link to join the mailing list below. Anyway, that's it. Have a good day.